US imposes sanctions targeting metal sectors of Iran regime. The United States on Wednesday imposed fresh sanctions targeting the Iranian regime's steel, iron, aluminum and copper sectors. President Trump said in the order released Wednesday, it remains the policy of the United States to deny Iran all paths to both a nuclear weapon and an intercontinental ballistic missile, and to counter the totality of the Iranian regime's malign influence in the Middle East. He continued, it is also the policy of the Middle East to deny the Iranian government revenue, including revenue derived from the export of products from Iran's iron, steel, aluminum and copper sectors that may be used to provide funding and support for the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, terrorist groups and networks, campaigns of regional aggression and military expansion. European powers reject Iran regime ultimatums on nuclear deal. European powers said Thursday that they backed the nuclear deal with Iran, but rejected any ultimatums from Tehran to keep it alive. The EU Foreign Policy Chief, Federica Mogherini, and the foreign ministers of Britain, France and Germany said in a statement, "We reject any ultimatums and we will assess Iran's compliance on the basis of Iran's performance regarding its nuclear-related commitments under the 2015 deal." Pompeo's statement on Iran regime portrays close coordination with Europe. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo issued a statement on May 8th, listing the US administration's successes in putting pressure on the Iranian regime and insisting that Washington remains committed to blocking Iran's paths to a nuclear weapon. Pompeo did not shy away from describing US policy as a maximum pressure approach to Iran, highlighting efforts to block Tehran's oil sales and implementing other sanctions. The Secretary of State also portrayed a picture of close cooperation with European allies in countering Iran. He had displayed the same approach earlier in a joint press conference with his British counterpart, Jeremy Hunt. US urges GCC unity to combat threat posed by Iran regime. The chairman of the US House for Foreign Affairs Committee has called for Gulf countries to work together to contain what he describes as the threat posed by the Iranian regime. Eliot Engel said on Wednesday, the United States and its Gulf partners share economic opportunities, anti-terrorism concerns, and can be working together to counter the threat posed by Iran. US warns European businesses against using Iran-EU trade mechanism. The United States on May 8th warned European banks, investors and businesses against engaging with the so-called special purpose vehicle called Instex, a Europe-backed system to facilitate non-dollar trade with the Iranian regime and circumvent US sanctions. Tim Morrison, Special Assistant to the President and Senior Director for Weapons of Mass Destruction and Biodefense, told a conference, "If you are a bank, an investor, an insurer or other business in Europe, you should know that getting involved in the special purpose vehicle is a very poor business decision." He also called Iran's move to scale back some curbs to its program nothing less than nuclear blackmail of Europe. Morrison also said that the United States is planning to impose further sanctions on Iran very soon. UK says Iran regime will face consequences if it breaks nuclear deal. Britain said the Iranian regime would face consequences if it backed away from its nuclear deal, following Tehran's announcement on Wednesday that it was scaling back curbs to its nuclear program that had been agreed under a 2015 deal with world powers. Junior Foreign Office Minister Mark Field told Britain's Parliament, should Iran cease meeting its nuclear commitments, there would, of course, be consequences.